Blankendow from Sports Management Group
and Brazilian football
and
school.
Brazilian Football School. Last week, while school was out, or a couple of weeks ago when school was out, you actually got together with some coaches from overseas and some to put on some camps. Hockey was one, football was another. Um, Give us a sense of what was the outcome. Speaking with the coaches after the fact.
Yeah, the outcome, if the coach is speaking to them after the fact, they were first of all quite pleased to come to the island. Bermuda is a beautiful place. At Brazilian Football School and Bermuda Sports Management Group, we always try to have a agreement factor to say, you know what, come to the island, showcase our students, and then can we get them to come back with their student body as well. And we're pretty successful in that matter. They have identified 2 young ladies for potential bursaries in the soccer arena. There were 15 to 17 students who were introduced to field hockey, so that's another sport that they would hopefully gravitate to, but also assist the Field Hockey Association with finding new members. And in the end, the schools have also indicated they would like to come back to field hockey, probably on a cultural exchange tour, and the soccer program from San Episcopal School in Texas to come back with a men's team. So with a men's team, we always ask, can you bring a women's team as well? So that means not only will Brazilian Football School players, club players, but the island as well with the national programs in both respective sports of field hockey and football or soccer, they will be the beneficiary of that.
You see more and more of um, coaches coming to and a wide range of sports being introduced to a lot of other kids and so forth. From your sports management group, are you satisfied with what um, the hockey? Because we're going to use the 2 sports that you use, football and hockey. Are you satisfied with what the associations are doing as far as making sure that they have events on for their athletes, and then sort of your group is to sort of merge the 2?
I would say it's not what I think, but it's what they think. So having spoken to the field hockey president and also some of their staff that assisted us during the week, they were pleased that we were able to put this on. It's challenging for them and also for us to get a high number of individuals at particular times of the year. And having also noted they have challenges in traveling overseas and sometimes having players come here or schools come here. And if we do work together, whether it's networking and actually putting on dual events in conjunction with each other, we all benefit. And in Bermuda, we have to stop working in a silo. That's for all sports and even different agencies, and actually come together around the table and say, hey, it's 100 students. They're all part of our programs. They're all going to benefit. If we do it in silo, we may get 25 here or 40 over here. Together, we could get 100. Everyone wins, and it's going to be more cost efficient and probably also more effective for the student athletes' time management, so they don't have to run to three locations. They actually be in one location, and all the bodies are there at one time.
With your sports management group, you try to factor in development as well as education. Do you see the 2 as a challenge for you and the people that you've been working with thus far, or do you see it, well, despite a challenge, it's a benefit?
It's never a challenge. It's only a benefit. The challenge is only when you have to change someone's mindset. We know in Bermuda there are no professional teams, so it's all about academic and athletic development. It's simple. The challenge is how do we transfer that to the student athlete to know that they still have to do the schoolwork first, and how do we meet the demand of players and parents that want to travel overseas or have high level incoming coaches coming in at an affordable rate and particular times of the year. It's actually not a challenge to me because it's something enjoyable. If you enjoy what you're doing, you find a solution and a way to get around it. But in Bermuda, we have to note that we can have 5 Nikki Wells, but we actually need 50 our basins that are going to come back and be sustainable and do good work in our community.
Just saying that, do you feel as if with so many different pockets of bringing in coaches and everything, it's becoming of the organizations that want to move kids forward, coming together more often and talking about, well, we got this mechanism, we have this link in this contact, you have this link in this contact, and we could kind of bring them all together around the same time to have a bigger pool of resources.
Yes, I don't know if you've been following us closely, Bert. Brazilian Football School and Bermuda Sports Management Group, we are going to do something groundbreaking starting this school year or next school year in partnership with a few agencies, and it's going to actually be joined up agreements and partnerships and initiatives that will benefit, just as you mentioned, having coaches and athletes and different sporting groups all working together to have our athletes be involved in programs at the same time, and also having coaches and resources at the same time. In a small jurisdiction as we are, it doesn't make sense having something on the first week of February, the third week of February, and the second week of March. If we all do it on a particular date, everyone wins. The hotels wins, the taxi drivers wins, tourism wins, the parents win, the student athletes win, and our organization, as much as we think that we differ from each other, we are actually all doing the same thing, trying to educate and give student athletes a viable outcome through life, through sports and academics.
We see a lot of our, especially football, going on to become professionals. What we don't emphasize is the fact that they've graduated from school, which is the big plus. Should we be putting more emphasis on not them signing a contract to become a professional, but the fact that they have that education to fall back on?
Yes, and that's where we are moving towards. Brazilian Football School, Brazilian Sports Management Group, it's all about tracking and data. We tend to know where the players are when they're going overseas for trials or experiences, or even the few that have pro contracts. But once they move on to further education, we normally wave a hand and say goodbye and say thank you and we're proud of you, and we don't really follow up. So our next step in the initiative is to actually track before they leave, as they're going on their experience, and once they graduate, we want to know where you are, what you're doing, and how we can assist you. The biggest piece is you can shake somebody's hand and say well done, or you can shake their hand, say well done, and we're here for you for the next 4 to 5 years. And that's the piece that we're missing. We congratulate them and send them off, but we forget they still need us. As much as we think they're adults, they're really very young and sometimes immature, but they have gotten the opportunity to go overseas. And they actually need us to be there with them along the way. And as we're talking about the International Student Athlete Camp, we definitely have to thank Sal One, Hiscox Bermuda, and Pitt & Co. or BGA group of companies for their support. Without these sponsors, community sponsors, corporate sponsors, even grassroots, the BFA, and the Bermuda Field Hockey Association, the National Sports Center, without these organizations, entities, and partners, we will not be able to do this for our student athletes and Bermuda at large. So we say thank you to everyone who has been a big asset to all of our organizations during the past years. Audio Jungle.